The London Speaker Bureau is the largest bureau in Europe and Asia, and they have a stable of some of the finest business and motivational speakers in the world. They provide celebrities, opinion formers, entrepreneurs, adventurers and explorers, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. But we all know that nothing beats a face-to-face meeting in an informal setting over a glass of good wine, because it's a chance for speakers and clients to have a chat and get to know each other.
Green and Blacks was born in the last recession, and I think that we're living proof that, you know, there's only one way to go, and that's up. So a recession can be a very good thing for people. It forces them to look at absolutely everything they do and to draw on every single resource that they have, and that certainly was true when we began Green and Blacks.
It's not the end of the world, that they should remain positive, that they will come out of it, and that if you're smart enough you will come out better than when you started.
James, if a company was trying to launch a groundbreaking product, what advice would you give them?
Two things. Firstly, I would demand that the people that are involved in the project are incredibly courageous about what they do and really take on to try and win. And secondly, be bold.
What advice indeed?
Being an entrepreneur is no longer just for entrepreneurs. And the beauty is, if you work for someone else, if you can be like an entrepreneur, if you can think like an entrepreneur, behave like an entrepreneur, it's a real win-win. Because you get the security of working for a company, you get the umbrella, the salary coming in, and yet you get the creativity, the challenge, the fun, the fulfillment of an entrepreneur. So I definitely think things have changed, and people who work in large corporations should start behaving just like they're entrepreneurs, as if it's their own business.
Super simple. We build communities for employers, which basically means it's like a LinkedIn, but rather than linking people to people, it's people to companies all around work. So what it means is companies can hire from a community of people that have connected to them and showed interest in advance, rather than using recruitment consultants or job boards. But basically we make social media simple for companies.
I think China is still the biggest and most exciting economy to emerge over the last few years. And I think what's striking about the Chinese growth story is how durable it's been. China avoided a recession when the world fell into recession these past couple of years. And it has done something that no other economy has done, which is to grow at nearly 10% for 30 years.
The combination of the global downturn and in the UK domestic pressures mean that leadership's more important than ever. When you're in a maze, you need somebody who knows the way to get you out of it.
And the main bit was I kind of brought the idea of writing for the general public on gadgets and consumer goodies in about 1990, before anybody had a mobile phone or anything like that. And I've been writing about it for 20 years now, to the point where everybody's got 10 mobile phones and 6 computers, and nobody ever thought that would happen except me.
I think what I can do as a neuroscientist is bring to a perspective to the commercial world some very interesting facts about the brain that perhaps could change how people conduct their businesses. For example, we occupy more ecological niches than any other species on the planet because we are exquisitely sensitive to the environment. And so what I can do is show examples of this so-called plasticity, which shows just how every moment you're alive, your brain is changing according to the environment you're in.
The most important thing is you've got to know who your customers are in the first place, and I actually think that so many consumer-led businesses don't even know who it is that they're targeting. So you're never going to be able to deliver good service if you don't actually know who it is that you're supposed to be serving.
we've got plenty of left. Our expedition group, there are things that haven't been done yet, and that's what we're after doing. Obviously, we raise money through sponsorship, and that's what we're doing right now. In a year or two, we'll be off again.
And after the exciting life you've had, is speaking to a corporate audience still a challenge?
Yeah, I've made a living. Expeditions don't pay a penny. I make a living through talking all over the world. This morning I was in Venice with General Electric, tomorrow Southampton. The lecture circuit is how we make a living in between the expeditions. Enjoy the corporations very much indeed. Try to be inspirational and humorous, and yeah, we meet lots of interesting people. It's good.
To me, there's a lot of crossover between these expeditions and goal setting in the office. And for me, the fundamental key lies in the spirit of the team, because having a group of individuals working as one is the most powerful force that you can imagine. Whether that's trekking across an ice cap or working together in an office, what you can achieve together is very, very powerful. So when I choose my teams, I look for people with lots of energy, lots of passion, because I find that the skills that you need for these expeditions can be taught and learned. But something that can't be taught is the character of the individual.
The very first expedition was perhaps my worst. I had to eat my dog to survive, and I was starving to death. I'd been attacked by gold miners, ran off through the forest, and eventually was starving to death, and so I had to eat my companion. So that was a bad start. Then I found myself being shot at by drug barons. I was chased by assassins belonging to Pablo Escobar. I've been chased by gold miners. I've been poisoned. I've been left in the Arctic without my dogs. It's all gone wrong in various places around the world. But the great thing about these disasters is that that is the moment when you're really tested. Everything's fallen apart, and then you know how good you are in that environment. That's when it either comes together or not.
And recently I've expanded beyond just looking at different businesses now into lessons from sport, the arts, the armed services, places like that. Anywhere where I think there's a pocket of skill that we can learn from. And I just really want to help organisations start to look into other environments, because when we look only at our own industry, it's great and we learn something, but it's what everybody's already doing, so why not try and get somewhere new?
I think clearly there are many companies who have got very strong brands, they've managed them well, they've built them well. However, for every company that has done it really well, there are many companies who might use the word brand, but maybe aren't using it in a way that could really add the right amount of value to their business.
Most people are trying to turn a product into a brand. We start with a brand before a product, which is great because it gives you such a huge head start. And those things are understood and they come from within the Virgin Group.
It has been a brilliant evening. We've had lots of chatter, exchange of cards, and it's networking in its truest form. Getting up close and personal really gives everyone a chance to explore ideas and think about new and different ways of making their event an event to remember. Thanks for attending. We hope you found it beneficial, and perhaps you've left with a few ideas of people who you'd like to use at your next event. The team are happy as always to help and advise. We wish you a successful year ahead and look forward to seeing you next year. Bye-bye.